Sportscast, January 13th, 2020. If you haven't yet, please subscribe on all our channels, Periscope, YouTube, and iTunes. And if you're in iTunes, please subscribe. First, listen to the podcast, listen and leave a review, and also write a comment saying it's amazing. All the stars, 5 stars. And, of course, visit us on thesportscast.net for the latest news. Astros coach is fired, but we'll talk about it later. National Championship football tonight. The battle of SEC versus ACC, LSU and Clemson. LSU having an amazing story. Will they top it off? Clemson, will they defend their trophy tonight? And to flesh this out with me today, Ryan Christa, welcome back after a 1-month hiatus of the Sportscast.
Hi, it sounds good, San Diego. It's good to be back. Good to be talking about the biggest game in college football against 2 undefeated teams, 2 great quarterbacks, 2 great coaches. They each have their own stories. This is what we've been waiting for, and we got what we wanted.
I don't know about you, but it doesn't feel very National Football League. Very college football championship tonight. It feels like it's just, wow, college football's back. It felt like it's been gone for a month, but it's only been 2 weeks since the last playoffs. Let's look at this matchup. LSU favored to win. Clemson surprised many people by beating Ohio State. How do you see these two teams collide tonight?
Well, you got 2, like I said, 2 great quarterbacks. Let's start with LSU, led by Joe Burrow and his trio wide receivers. Really, with the question mark of LSU still is the health of Clyde Edwards-Helaire. How good is he going to be good? I know he didn't have much work in the semifinal game because they didn't need him, and so he's got a lot of time to get healthy. But if Clemson doesn't have to worry about the running game, they're going to be able to, I think, make it a little bit tougher than most teams in stopping LSU. But if LSU can run the ball, Santiago, wow, they're just so tough to stop. That's the matchup, that everybody's looking at. Number 1 scoring offense versus number 1 scoring defense. We haven't seen that since LSU played Oklahoma, back in I think 2003 season, 2004, somewhere around that. But so we're, that's going to be highly anticipated to see how good that Clemson defense is. Be able to stop, the Jordan Jeffersons, the Terrence Marshalls, the Thaddeus Moss. We know what his dad can do on the field, and he can do some pretty good things on the soft catching that football, Santiago.
Something to definitely look at, of course. Oregon and Joe Burrow are the favorites here to win tonight. Let's look at Clemson. What does Clemson need to do? Do they need to pull a Ohio State type of game plan to beat LSU?
Well, they got to, I think what Clemson can do is, they can score points. They can score them quickly, but you're going to look for them to be balanced. Use Travis Etienne. Get first downs. When they got chances to, obviously make big plays, they're going to have to. But, Trevor Lawrence will, I still there's no reason why he won't be the one pick in, the draft in a year from now. He's got everything, Santiago. One thing we did see last week that we really haven't seen is his ability to run. He had a 67-yard run against Ohio State, which is a tremendous defense and has tremendous speed, and he outran their secondary for that touchdown, Santiago. It was a game where, I don't think he had his A game throwing the ball, and I don't think his receivers didn't have their A game, we got to have a huge game from T. Higgins, to really compete with LSU tonight. Their cornerbacks of Ohio State did one thing, and that was be very physical with the Clemson wide receivers at the line of scrimmage. And I think LSU, their defense early on in the season was, kind of a focal point of this team, distracting from how good their offense was how mediocre this defense was. For so long we've always heard about, the being okay, good enough. But, it was kind of reversals at the start of the season, but, the rise of, Derek Stingley on the outside is a shutdown corner has really risen this team, and they're getting healthy, Chase on the edge, Santiago, wow, what speed rusher, he's going to put a lot of pressure on Trevor Lawrence to get that ball out quickly. But, the X factor again starts with Travis Etienne being able to, I don't know if he's got to be a huge game, but he's got to be able to make those critical first downs, extend drives, to keep Joe Burrow off the field.
Is Clemson the underdog? Are you surprised they made it this far?
No, because at the beginning of the season, they were clearly the number one team in, football. And I know there's a big deal of how Dabo Sweeney got the underdog card and the disrespect card, because the team has done, really had this one close game against UNC, game they didn't play well, but they still won. And ever since that point, they've been crushing teams, and they're moving down in the polls. It just doesn't make sense. But, at the same time, LSU has got better quality pick this year, played a tougher schedule. I mean, the amount of top 10 teams they played, and they very little close games. So this team, it comes in deserving of the underdog, yes, because LSU has had that good of a season. But when you won 29 straight games, it's hard to call yourself an underdog, I think.
Of course, it's his fifth year between an ACC and SEC school. What does that tell you? I believe Ryan is out of sight. I don't mind. I think he will be coming back when we'll probably have to restart. Ryan, you're back.
I'm back. I'm here.
What does a ACC school versus an SEC school for the fifth year, for the past 5 years, what does that say to you?
Well, we know, the SEC is carried by, their
top heavy.
Top heavy. The ACC could say the same thing. Clemson has been carrying the torch for the ACC for a while now. It used to be, Florida State, Miami, beginning of the decade. But right now, Florida State passed the torch to Clemson. We just don't see a whole lot of balance in the ACC. When we say SEC versus SEC for 5 years, really saying Clemson.
It's just Clemson, yeah. There hasn't been Boston College or Florida State. Well, Florida State did go in 2015 with James Winston, so give him credit for that.
Yeah, that was kind of the end of the era. The next year, they really had a decline, and they've never really been back since then. But here nor there. But Clemson, just a brand they built. The consistency, and it's not going away. The number one recruiting class in the country, far and away. The talent, it's going to be there for a while. And the SEC is what it is. It's Giants versus Giants. Well, we may always think about LSU and Alabama, but we talk about the competition they have to get there. The Florida, the Georgia, the Auburn. Those are quality teams. Well, they might not be championship teams all the time, but they're better than they're the middle of the pack. They're better than the middle of the pack of the ACC, and I think that's why Clemson always comes in with a chip on their shoulder, because while they're beating teams by 30-plus points in the ACC, LSU and Alabama, are winning by 14 points against quality teams.
The whole debate of what's going on with the college football playoffs continue. LSU is favored in Vegas by 5 points, favored over Clemson. So LSU is looking.
If you look at the nerds of ESPN Football Power Index, the FPI, that has Clemson as a favorite in tonight. So that the talent-wise,
Is it pretty even?
Talent by talent, I think. Yeah, very even. You got the number one quarterback probably taken in this year's draft, the number one quarterback taken in next year's draft against each other, and they're throwing to frisbee catching dogs on the outside, Santiago. And you've got, great defensive players. I talked about Derek Stingley from LSU, Chase on, the athletes that'll be on the field tonight, are going to be great. And it does kind of lose a little bit of luster, San Diego, not the quality of the matchup, but the way you just described us. For the 2 weeks we've been talking about NFL playoffs, and all of a sudden we got the championship game right after 2 straight weeks of great NFL football. It doesn't feel college right
It
now.
doesn't. It does not. I think the NFL playoffs really overtook that the energy.
It does, and when you got the game at a neutral site, and it's very corporate-y, and I know LSU.
It is New Orleans, though. It does feel more of a home match for LSU, though.
Yeah, it does, but I think in the scene, in the sense that there'll be a lot of people in the area for LSU, but how it's still going to cost $1,500 to get in the stadium, whether you're from Baton Rouge or from Clemson, South Carolina. It's very corporate-y. It's like the Super Bowl, San Diego.
Yeah, like you were saying, like the fanfare is not as exciting compared to play at home.
I think you hear about, you can watch ESPNs on site. You can see a lot of fans. You can see a lot of energy there. And it is obviously probably going to be, pro LSU if you had to pick a side.
You would think.
But, yeah. At the end, I still think you're going to get thousands of, corporate sponsors there, who aren't going to probably make too much noise, here or there. But,
something.
Like you said, it's just, it doesn't feel very college-y, but, at the same time, as a college football fan, this is what we wanted. 2 great football teams, I think the 2 best football teams. You might say Clemson, Ohio State, the way they played is 2A and 2B. So either one of those teams deserved it, but Clemson just ended up holding on to the end.
Sticking with college football, let's go with Florida Gators recruiting. They're ranked 7th at according to 247 Sports. Florida has done a good job for recruiting so far.
Yeah, Dan Mullen each year just moves up just a little bit. The first year is tough, because he gets there in December, and does the best he can, throw together a good recruiting class. He ends up in the mid-teens. Now, last year they moved a little close. I think they were at 11 or 12. Now they're going to end up, I think, around 7 or 8. It's, depending on how many, if they get any more highly ranked recruits here on the second signing day. But it's the quality of player. He's getting more and more depth. We didn't, under Jim McElwain, we definitely took a backseat in the quantity of good players. Did we have some individual good players? Sure. We have players coming out in the draft this year and last year that were recruited by Jim McElwain. We just don't have the depth of the good players that Florida is used to, and the depth that you see from LSU and Clemson on both sides of the ball. We just didn't have that at all the positions. But little by little, Mullins, he's changed the culture, and that's evident in the 21-5 record he has in 2 years. And definitely coming back with, we're going to have a lot of good players coming back on both sides of the ball. We got to fill up some holes on the receiving holes for it, because we're missing Christa, 6 huge players that, graduate from the receiving corps. But we'll have some talent coming back. We're going to miss Marco P. Ryan, a running back, but we got talent we brought in, and, especially, from the transfer portal, they got the former 5-star running back from Miami to replace him. So
Lorenzo Lingard.
Yeah, Lorenzo Lingard. Thank you.
No problem.
The future looks bright for the Gators. Definitely, we know one thing. Mullen can coach, and he's shown that in his first 2 years. He took, I think, middle-of-the-road talent in the SEC and, took us almost to the SEC championship in the last 2 years. So we know we can do that. So hopefully, closing the gap on Georgia, and that's the difference. Georgia's just got a little bit more talent than us, and that's the difference in the last 2 years. So I think we're ready to compete with Georgia, and I hope this is the year, with Kyle Trask coming back and, Jake Fromm going to the NFL. the difference in quarterbacking could be how the Gators get to the SEC championship game this year.
Yeah, that's the big placeholder. The biggest hurdle for Florida is Georgia, which they're number 3 in recruiting. Of course, right above them is Alabama and Clemson. But yeah, Georgia is that mountain that Florida needs to overcome. But according to Tyler, recruiting does translate what happens in the season. So,
absolutely.
So we'll see. Of course, Mullen's a good coach. Obviously, doing well with recruiting. So hopefully, it will prolong his coaching career in Florida.
Yeah. Definitely. And there's definitely a hope. Santiago, that Gators fans are looking for. He's brought the fun back. You were scoring points, Santiago. Even though in the Jim Eckling, the first 2 years he was there, we went to the SEC East Championship, but that was more about how bad the SEC East was during that time. Because Gators fans, they're used to the Superior and the Meyer era where we were good on both sides of the ball. Under McElwain, we were good on the defensive side of the ball, and Gators fans want to see points, and we haven't seen that since Tim Tebow left.
Will Mullen be like Steve Spurrier after all this is done?
Yeah, I think so. I think.
Can he live up to Steve Spurrier's level?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be at the Meyer level. Winning 2 championships, that's hard to do in this day and age.
Different time.
What Spurrier did was he took a mediocre program in Florida when he got there and made it a superior program, and really changed the culture. Made Florida relevant. Made an attraction on TV. Santiago, that's how I fell in love as a Gator fan at 6 or 7 years old, watching them on TV under Spurrier.
You watched like the days of Danny Werfel.
Yeah, Danny Werfel, all those great quarterbacks he had back then.
Who was that one quarterback that was a bust? Werfel was one of them, but they had a few.
Oh, you got the Rex Grossman.
That guy. Yeah, he was a bust.
It's interesting, he wasn't as good as everybody thought he was going to be, but he still led the Bears to the Super Bowl.
That's quite it's quite ironic. But where is he now?
I have no idea, Santiago. But
well, everyone knew about Tim Tebow was not going to be a good NFL quarterback, so that was the right prediction.
Exactly, but Spurrier really. Meyer won the championships, but Spurrier still got a special spot, and I think most Gators fans, he's kind of, the godfather of Florida football.
There's which they do have a statue of him, don't they?
Yeah. What'd you say?
Doesn't Florida have a statue of Steve Spurrier?
Yeah, so one of Spurrier and one of Tebow.
Wow.
And one of Werfel. They got one for each of the Heisman Trophy winners.
Which was the golden days. Which, by the way, Steve Spurrier coached for the Lions last year.
Yeah.
But
he was the Orlando team.
But he was in bad shape.
He's still a consultant for Florida. He's an ambassador, so you see him at all the football games. He goes raises money for the athletic department. So.
All right, let's get into the NFL, the nitty and gritty of this weekend. Tennessee Titans surprised the Ravens. I saw this coming. I think that there was a possibility Titans was going to beat Baltimore, and it came to pass. Ryan, were you surprised when you saw the final score?
Was I surprised? No, I think I'm with you, Santiago. I think Lamar Jackson, he's got to prove it. There's a difference between the regular season quarterback and the playoff quarterback. He struggled mightily last year, and I think it motivated him to improve on the off season. And they really had a great regular season, but he took the last week off for the regular season. They had a bye, and it shows. He was rusty and inaccurate. The Titans, they got the recipe right now, Santiago. They run the ball.
And had Ryan Tannehill, throw some safe passes. Sorry, guys. Ryan is out. He's in Rochester, rugged Rochester, where the receptions don't get through anywhere, especially under a bridge or under a tunnel or during a snowstorm Or perhaps he has Metro
Sure.
PCS. Ryan, you're back. We lost you for a sec.
Okay, I'm back. Yeah.
Is Ryan Tannehill the real deal?
He's the real deal enough, Thiago. He's just perfect right now for the Titans. He's got to make a couple of big plays, throw the ball deep.
Wow, reception is pretty. Oh, you're back.
I'm back. I'm here. Back on Ryan Tannehill. He's perfect for the Titans right now. He takes care of the ball. He's accurate. He can throw that deep ball to AJ Brown. He can, you make those plays on the feet when he's got to. He's really what they needed, and probably what they were lacking from Marcus Mariota.
Yeah, which was a smart move that Vrabel did mid-season, where he switched Tannehill to be the starting quarterback rather than Mariota, which Vrabel's having an amazing season. He used to be a Patriot, was a linebacker, and he outcoached Belichick on that game against the Patriots.
Absolutely, outcoached him. He reminds me he might be the next Bill Belichick, San Diego. He gets a lot out of his team. They're defensive oriented. They run the ball. It reminds me of the early years of the Patriots. If you remember, back in 03, 04 era, the Patriots weren't a high-flying team. They didn't have a lot of talent around. Tom Brady never really had a 1,000-yard rusher for many years. He didn't have a 1,000-yard receiver. Really until they got to the Randy Moss team, that team was high-flying. But before they're very team-oriented, made enough plays on both sides of the ball to win games. And that reminds me of the Titans right now.
Something to definitely look at. The Titans play Kansas City this weekend for the AFC Championship. Let's go to the other side of the NFC. Green Bay defeated Seattle pretty soundly. What were your thoughts about that game?
I think if Seattle had 5 more minutes on the clock, they might have won that game. But Green Bay played a great first half. They controlled the ball. Aaron Jones had a great game running the ball, and the defensive line for the Packers made life very tough for Russell Wilson. He made a couple incredible plays, extend plays, and as he always does, pulls a rabbit out of a hat. But in the end, the Packers made the plays defensively when they had to, and Aaron Rodgers made the throws when he had to, to convert those third downs, And that's the difference, when you got a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, when it's 3rd and 8, and everybody else in the league is running the ball, so, they want to take a chance, What do the Packers do? They go and throw the ball because they know that's how you have to win the game.
The Niners defeated Vikings pretty easily as well. What happened to this Vikings team? They had some momentum from the Saints, but they definitely were stopped by the Niners.
49ers are a darn good football team. Great balance on both sides of the ball. The Vikings had the perfect game plan against the Saints on both sides of the ball. They just weren't able to run the ball against the 49ers. They can't run the ball. Kirk Cousins isn't as good, so they weren't able to make those deep passes down the field that they used to making. But, Jimmy Garoppolo had, a pretty good day. Emmanuel Sanders had a good day. And I think George Kittle is the hardest matchup to stop. Maybe Travis Kelce of the Chiefs, but, those are matchup nightmares. And it's interesting because, the Packers, when the 49ers they played earlier this year, the 49ers really took it to the Packers. But, that game was 2 months ago, and, both teams are different right now.
Something to definitely look at. Niners look unstoppable. They will host Green Bay this weekend for the NFC Championship game. Let's go to the other side in Kansas City. The Texans were up 24-0, and out of nowhere, Kansas scored 40 points and won the game. What does this tell you about Kansas City?
High power. Yeah. You can't take your foot off the pedal against a team like the Chiefs, and that's what worried me for the Titans. The Titans, had a perfect game plan against Patriots and Ravens, but those teams I think can be stopped. I just don't think you can stop a Patrick Mahomes team, and do the Titans have enough offense, The Texans, they put up a lot of points, a lot of yards, but in the end, they took, 15 minutes off, and you take 15 minutes off against the Chiefs, that's all they need, and you got to play smart, That fake field goal, if they get it, maybe it's a smart play, but hindsight's 20/20, but, you miss a fake punt, big punt, and then you fumble the kickoff. You really, everything that could go wrong for the Texans went wrong in that second quarter.
Yeah, something
As a
that.
Broncos fan, that reminds me of, the Super Bowl. I didn't see it because I was just a baby, but you ever hear about the Super Bowl with the Denver Broncos on 10-0 after the first quarter against the Redskins, and Doug Williams threw for 5 touchdowns against the Broncos in the second quarter. First team in the playoff history scored 35 points in a quarter.
That I was not there, but that sounds very similar to what happened yesterday.
Absolutely, Santiago.
Kansas City has a couple weapons. You got Mahomes, you got Kelsey, you got Williams, and also you got Hill. I mean, can the Titans stop one of these guys? I mean, would it be enough to stop one, or that to stop two out of the two?
If you stop those guys, Santiago, then they'll hit Sammy Watkins. This team is just very good. The middle of the year, they were kind of flat in the middle of the year. Mahomes got injured. Even when he came back, they lacked that dynamicness that we thought we'd see from the Chiefs and we saw early in the year. But, the last 3 or 4 weeks, this team's been flat out unstoppable.
Will this be the year that Andy Reid will win his first Super Bowl?
If I had to put, some money on it, I'm looking at all 4 teams. That's what I'm going with. Interesting. I'll have to see the weather, coming up in Kansas City, because that will be a variable that you have to watch out for. But
hostile environment, according to Gronkowski.
Yeah. I do like, Kansas City, and definitely beat the Titans, and I like the 49ers to beat the Packers. And I think that'll be one heck of a matchup, But, I mean, any of the matchups, are going to be great in the Super Bowl. Chiefs, Packers will probably draw the biggest national audience, Rematch of Super Bowl I on the 100th anniversary. What do you think about that?
I don't know. Sometimes I think they need to plan these things out.
You sound like my wife, Santiago.
But it'd be interesting if Tannehill goes back to Miami for the Super Bowl.
Yeah. It would be weird, but I don't see them having enough firepower. I think it's a nice story, and I'm happy for Tannehill because now he's probably got a job for many years because I feel like he got a raw deal in Miami.
Well, it's because Tennessee had a better O-line as well.
Tennessee's they're built. They're just a perfect marriage. What they're looking for in Tannehill, they got. For Mariota, they got in Tannehill, and that doesn't mean Mariota's career is over. He's probably just going to be more of a RG3 of the backup role right now. So.
RG3. Very, very similar situations. Anyways, anything else before we head into to game predictions?
Oh,
Stefanski to the Browns. Is that a good choice by the Browns?
I don't know a whole lot about this guy, Santiago. But what I do need to know the Browns need an adult in the room. And I really thought they needed to go with a guy who's strong, leader,
Like Urban Meyer.
Players coach, because they got the talent. Yeah. I just really thought they needed somebody other than the first 37-year-old guy to be a head coach.
Urban Meyer was not interviewed at all, I believe. For none of these teams.
I don't know how. It's funny because in the offseason you hear about names: Urban Meyer, Lincoln Riley,
or Josh McDaniels.
Whenever the Cowboys' job's coming open, it's Lincoln Riley's. Well, I don't think he ever got interviewed or asked to be interviewed. But
is Urban Meyer blacklisted too, like in the NFL?
I don't think so. I personally feel like he's done coaching.
Maybe he is.
If he's going to coach in the NFL, he would coach the Browns because I think he's not going to leave the state of Ohio.
I thought he was going to go to Dallas, but Dallas was looking for someone with experience in the NFL as a head coach, and of course, Mike McCarthy.
Mike McCarthy was an okay hire, Don't ask Tyler about
wasn't
that,
sexy.
He's got experience, but they also hired Marvin Lewis, who is I mean, obviously, tons of experience, but what did he ever accomplish in Cincinnati? But
Interesting
that's
criteria how they did this. It's pretty interesting. Dallas, like, yeah, we want someone with head coach, NFL experience.
Yeah, and
No assistant coaches.
And maybe Marvin Lewis, he fits two categories. He's black, and so you got the minority.
Right.
You have to, and he had experience. So, and what really they probably wanted Mike McCarthy. So.
Was Joe Judge a good hire for the Giants?
Santiago, I had to Google this guy. I never heard of him.
Me either. He came out of nowhere. They hired him before Matt Rule.
Well, I know a lot of people Santiago. I know. I'm not.
Well, apparently he worked under Saban and Belichick. So if you didn't know that by now,
I know a lot of people Santiago, and I had to hire this guy. It's funny because he was up for two jobs. He was up for the Mississippi State job and this. So I'm like, who is this guy? But you get when you work for Bill Belichick, you get the advantage. So
you could be a water boy in the Patriots and get hired as a head coach somewhere.
Yeah, definitely.
Matt Rule for the Panthers, was that a good hire?
Absolutely, Santiago. That
Why?
guy's going to do good things. He's made for the NFL. The way he coaches, the way his teams play in college. And then he's perfect. I don't think he wanted to go to Marquee. So it kind of would make sense for Dallas, but at the same time, I feel like he didn't want to go to one of the big market cities, so he's not really been in the big market, when he coached, Baylor and Temple aren't, household names necessarily, but, his teams always play hard. He gets the most out of them. So I think, and he coach, the way he coaches is very NFL-like, not college-like. So, yeah, I think he was ready, I think he wanted to finish what he started in Baylor. So I think he really wanted to go to the Colts last, when the job came open.
Will he get rid of Cam?
That's I don't even know if that's up to him. That's probably more of a management issue. Do they want to?
Where's the hired new GM?
And start over,
well.
or they're ready to, try to win this year. So,
And
I'd have to go to the salary cap. I don't know how much. It's really it's a money issue. I think Santiago more than anything.
More than injuries. Jason Garrett to the Giants. Should he be the offensive coordinator there?
He's a great offensive mind. That's what he. When he calls plays in Dallas, one thing happens: the offense succeeds and the defense falters. And I think, and that's one thing in Dallas too to remember, that keeping Kellen Moore as the offensive coordinator keeps some consistency, which you don't see a lot in the NFL. Keeping, your coordinators on staff when you switch head coaches. So I think that's a good move for the Cowboys. So the offense wasn't bad this year. Dak seemed to like them, so I think that's a good move. So. Yeah, I think Jason Garrett will be good. I think it'll be perfect for Daniel Jones.
Now that Josh McDaniels will not be getting a head coach anywhere and probably staying with the Patriots, would that make Tom Brady stay with the Patriots?
I think once the Super Bowl is over, we get closer to
March
1st. What is Tom Brady going to do? Or I think it's going to be a clickbait issue here. I don't know.
I can see a scenario where he doesn't get signed anywhere.
I don't think he ever gets signed anywhere. Can you picture him playing anywhere other than the Patriots?
I can see him playing for the Chargers, though. For some reason, the Chargers makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, maybe, but I don't think so.
But they
gave you more than Philip Rivers gave you this year. Philip Rivers wasn't bad. They threw the ball to the other team too much, but. Maybe.
Hey,
I think
whoever.
What are you going to do? Because you want to draft. The Chargers are in a weird spot. They got a lot of talent. They probably can win now, but at the same time, they got to figure out the future of the quarterback position. Tom Brady's only going to be there for a year. You're going to end up.
It's a year-by-year basis.
Where they're bringing up Peyton Manning, and they think they, and then now. For years to come, because we didn't build a quarterback, we're still trying to look for one, and we're going nowhere.
Which is interesting because I don't know. Was it Peyton Manning that retired at 41, right, or was it 40?
It may have been right after it turned 40. So
yeah. So obviously Brady wasn't still playing at the highest level at that age.
Yeah. I mean, let's just say to Santiago, do you really expect Tom Brady to play for anybody other than the Patriots?
I can see him playing for the Chargers. I really do. But, I mean, his house is on sale. His trainer's house is on sale. So that kind of leads, I mean, either the Patriots, I don't know. I just don't know.
I mean, Belichick and Brady, it just goes hand in hand, you know. And
can Belichick win without Brady?
Yeah, I don't know, man. The defense is good this year. I mean, I don't think they won because of Brady this year. That's for sure.
Can they win with Jared Stidham?
Their offense is very run oriented. They got to get some playmakers. I mean, I know Nikhil Healy was good. I mean, but he was often injured for the rookie wide receiver, and Edelman's the shell of himself, and losing Gronk was big.
It was a huge hole to fill.
If Gronk came out of retirement, I think Brady stays, but
which he hasn't signed the retirement papers yet.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. Let's wait till March, all right? You'll come back in March, right? To the Sportscast in March. Yeah. Okay, so we'll once free agency starts, we'll have Ryan Christa come in.
Yeah.
All right. Let's head into
once the college basketball season starts, according to my wife.
Exactly. Let's head into game predictions. Let's start with the AFC. Tennessee going to Kansas City. The frigid, the tundra, hostile environment, according to Gronkowski. Who do you have between the Titans at the Chiefs?
I think the Chiefs win this game. I think by at least 2 scores. Too much firepower. I mean, I think maybe the Titans can keep it close for most of this game, but in the end, I think Mahomes gets it done.
Yeah, this would be harder than Baltimore for sure for the Titans and the Patriots combined. Green Bay at San Francisco. This might be the closest in the conference championship. This might be the closest game.
I'm going San Francisco. I do think it'll be closer. I think San Francisco by a field goal.
Wow, that's a tight, narrow win. Of course, San Francisco has not been to the Super Bowl since 1995, I think. And last time was in Miami, so it'll be interesting to come back.
It'll be good to see the 49ers back.
Yeah, exactly. And finally, national championship tonight, 8 p.m. Clemson, LSU at New Orleans at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome.
I'm going to Clemson. 29 games in a row. You can't go against them.
Clemson. You pick Clemson.
I don't know. I've just always been a Dabo Sweeney guy, so it's hard for me to go against them. And I love the color orange.
And the score?
27-24. I think the defense does great for Clemson.
Of course, tonight, Clemson, LSU. No, that's not. Clemson versus LSU is a neutral site. Ryan has in the win. I'm going to pick LSU. Joe Burrow is having a good season. Oregon, you got to have a good finish. Of course, Burrow's still number 1 pick in the NFL draft.
Absolutely.
Ryan Christa, what is the best way to reach you to talk to you about Ron Rivera?
Mad Dog Report 18 on Twitter, probably, yeah.
And that's was that good pick by the Redskins?
Yeah, definitely.
We'll see what what's it called Gilby says about that.
I think he was there at the Panthers for a long time. They always played hard. They got the most out of him. I think was it time to make a change? Yes, but I think he might be what the Redskins need. Let's
see what he can do with Dwayne Haskins. Anyways, you can reach us at thesportscast.net, thesportscast.net, or on Twitter at thesportscast1. We live tweeted last weekend. We're going to live tweet this weekend. We'll let you know who will be the commentators for the live tweets. And, of course, follow us along on thesportscast.net. A lot going on in football. This is not the last week of football, but it's the last week of college football. This weekend is the Championship Sunday for the NFL, and of course, in 2 weeks is a Super Bowl. We'll have Justin on this week to talk about Alabama's recap of how their season was, and Tua going to the NFL, which Ryan is not surprised he's going.
No, I think he was ready to go.
Ready and go. Anyways, we're ready to go pay some bills. So Ryan,
all right,
go Lima Christian basketball team.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Santiago.